What bot? Students will. Be able to. Classify triangles. By their angles and sides. Okay, we're going to start by classifying them by their angles. We can either say the whole triangle is an obtuse triangle. We can say it's an acute angle. Or we can say it is a right angle. So let's find out how we do that. So here we have an acute triangle. What do you notice about all three angles in this triangle that you see on the screen? Haley, what do you notice? They're all acute. We know that an acute triangle is a triangle whose angles are all acute. If you'll think back to a few weeks ago when you had your protractors out, and we were not measuring triangles, we were just measuring angles. And how do we know if an angle was acute? What was the cutoff number? What was it, Kyle?
90.
Had to be less than 90 degrees but greater than 0. If it was exactly 90, we would call it a right angle. Okay, so if you were to measure every single angle, if you were to measure this angle, the vertex at this angle, or this vertex, all three of them would be less than what number? 90. So we would call this an acute triangle.
It's cute.
Okay? Here we have what we would classify as an obtuse triangle. So what do you notice about this triangle? Look at your screen. You can see what it says below. What do you notice, Austin?
All sides are big.
All the sides are big.
Well, they're spread apart.
They are. But there's something else I want you to notice. Read to us what it says at the bottom there.
An obtuse triangle has one obtuse angle. Get out a sheet of paper and try to draw a triangle with two obtuse angles.
Okay, so what we discovered is that if it's an obtuse triangle, yes or no, can you have more than one obtuse angle? No. Now, we will only have one obtuse angle, but that's enough to call it an obtuse triangle. Okay. Question, Hope?
No.
Okay, great. Let's move on. Okay, so this is a right triangle. What do you notice about it, Hope?
That it has a right angle.
Right, a right triangle is a triangle with a right angle. And then it says try to draw a triangle with two right angles. So, no talking. You are going to do this. You have 1 minute. In fact, can you draw a triangle with two right angles? No, we're not even going to try. It's impossible. You would have to have more than 3 sides, which would disqualify it from being a triangle. Not possible. Okay, it tells you what kind of triangle this is an obtuse triangle.
Write it down there, so it's kind of cheating.
It is, I know.
Right.
What kind of triangle is this? That's right, because it does have that one right angle. And there's still too much extra talking going on. And then we have finally an acute triangle because Sarah, remind us, how do we determine if a triangle is acute? Grace, I'm sorry, Grace.
It has acute sides or angles.
How many?
3.
All 3 are going to be acute. That's right. Okay, now we're going to switch gears. We've talked about classifying them by their angles. Now we're going to get into the words that I think more of you were unsure of. The words equilateral, isosceles, scalene. We're going to talk about these 3 now. Okay? So let's start with, well, we've talked about these. I'm going to skip this slide. Did you know that you can name a triangle by looking at its sides? Well, you can. We're going to go through those now. Okay. The triangle that's in front of you and also on our screen, I want you to notice that with this triangle, all 3 sides are the same length. And when you have a triangle that has all 3 sides the same length, we call it equilateral. And the way I remember this one is they are I can hear the word equal and equilateral. So equal sides, equilateral triangle will have all three sides the same length. Okay, now we're going to talk about the isosceles triangle. With the isosceles triangle, we have two sides that are the same length. And I thought it was interesting, at the bottom of your screen, go ahead and read that to yourself. A way it gives you to remember what isosceles means. So it says it's called isosceles. The prefix isos means equal, and skelos means leg, and that's the two main parts of the words that form the word isosceles. When you put it together, you have a triangle with two equal legs. So two sides that are the same length, we're going to call that isosceles. It's kind of what? Funny?
It's a triangle with
Two legs, okay? All right, and here's what you need to know about a scalene triangle. What you need to notice about that is what you see right there on your screen. If it's a scalene triangle, that means none of the sides are the same length. This comes from the word scalenos, which means uneven or unequal. So scalene, you'll have no sides. No, it's actually a Greek or a Latin root. It's one of those two. It's Greek or Latin, okay? All right, so we're going to try sorting some triangles now. I'm going to put a triangle up there. Up on the next slide, you're going to see a triangle, and I need to know which kind it is. And you're going to have a multiple choice option come up where you'll get to choose A, B, or C. So think about what we've just learned. This is going to kind of test where you're at with this right now. Did you have any choices pop up on your screen?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, got 19. I'm waiting on my 27 number. Let's see where I'm going to see where all of you are at with this. I'm going to lock it. And now let's look and see how you responded. Okay, we had 5 of you choose isosceles, 22 chose scalene, and nobody chose equilateral. Well, I'm thankful for that. Nobody chose equilateral because that's right. It is not equilateral. Most of you chose scalene, and you were correct.
Yes.
Now, Alex, I'm just going to ask you, what made you choose scalene and not isosceles?
Well, I saw that none of the sides, like, length were the same.
Yeah.
And
you remember, the numbers were there for a reason. That's right. You saw that 3 different numbers, so since none of the sides are the same length, it had to be scalene, because what would have been the case if it was an isosceles? How many numbers would have been the same?
No, 2.
2. Equilateral would have been 3. Isosceles is going to be 2 of the numbers are going to be the same. All right, so pretty good job that most of you knew that. And unlock, and let's move to the next slide. Okay, here's your next one.
Oh.
There you go.
There it is.
It may take a moment, may lag for a moment.
I don't like it when it lags.
And a couple more. Okay. Locking them. And let's see how you did. Hopefully all of you got this one right. I'm hoping. Ooh. Okay. 21 said isosceles. 5 of you said equilateral. The correct answer here was equilateral.
Yeah.
It was an isosceles.
One had equilateral for my first answer.
Yeah.
And it was equilateral because all three sides were the same.
Can we look back? Huh?
They were long. Does it go backwards? Yeah, that's an isosceles. The bottom side is
If you were to measure all three sides, it's almost like an optical illusion, but that is an equilateral triangle. Okay, let's go to the next one. Now, can you clearly tell what this one is? Mark it on your screen. Come on, pick it up space, whoever's lagging behind here. There we go. Lock it and let's look. This is one person said equilateral. Oh, it can't be equilateral because I think on this one you could clearly see that two of the sides, two of the legs were the same. One was not. It was an isosceles triangle. Okay. Pretty good job. I think that's the last one. Okay.